26. Again, we got 4 months. Oh my God, what this year did. I know inflation seems like it's deflating the value of what you have left over to spend. The whole theory that I have around money is that people need more money to manage or they need to learn money management. But right now, inflation and interest rates is tussling at your wallet. And the thing that it could be that we're in August and some people feel that June was the midway point. And July is actually the midway point, but it's August and we're going into fall. And I want you to fall in line, get it, fall in line with your budget, your money, what's going on with it, and how to actually pivot as we go through the rest of this year. Because I don't know, have you seen what's going on your small screen? Or your big screen, which is the TV, or even the computer, whatever. No matter how you get information, you can really see how it's really going to infiltrate how you money throughout the next couple of months. But one of the things that I want to ask and to lead off is, what is one expense in your budget right now, or within the budget that you have formalized, or the one that you think you do, that is really tussling at you? Most people will say their housing, most people will say insurance or whatever, but this video is going to actually allow you to do an audit of your wallet. You know, I have a blog post talking about this, but how to position and pivot for the rest of the year. And if you're new here, I am Nadia. I'm a financial planner as well as an educator. I help people understand their wallet while to build their wealth. I yap about money on social media, and I help people roadmap their money within my company, the Brands and Band Strategy Group. And I'm not even going to be one that I think was making me start to do this or to curve this is because I've been seeing a lot of people saying that personal finance commentary content or whatever seems unrelatable, the same way they do these influencers. I love influencers, but the relatability when it comes to how money is talked about is just something that's been a tussle for a while. And I think videos like this is going to allow people to see, yeah, you might not have a lot, you might vision board it or screenshot it, but how can you actually formulate it to make it work? And videos like this is going to be pivotal to how you earn and leverage planning your money. And that's the thing, is that I don't want people thinking that it's like the spreadsheets or the templates. What are the tactical things that you can do to make sure your money starts coming through for you? And the thing is, I want you to learn how to adjust your budget mid-year, so you don't have to like go start from scratch and just throw the budget away, throw the spreadsheet away, throw the template, throw the app away. I wanted us to be able to look at it where you've been, aligned to where you are, and define what it looks like for the rest of the year, right? Let's get into it. This is a thing that I saw on a Fidelity webinar. I love Fidelity, by the way, where someone said they do their budget for the year, which is cool. So they have the same budget straight through, no matter if that's holidays, Christmas, bar mitzvah, back to school, or whatever, that they have the same budget throughout the year. Maybe you are that way. And a lot of people set their budget, set their intentions for the year in January. And we treat it like a New Year's resolution, when actually it's just not restrictive, but reflective of not only what our own money algorithm says, but what's going on within the algorithm of life. And the thing that is that by summertime, the goals that you had with your budget and your money flow starting in January can to be a jokeable thing by August and the summer. It's because you failed to see what you plan to position to what you are. And the good news about it is that your budget doesn't have to be perfect. I have been talking about over on social media about how to budget yourself within your budget. And I'm going to allow this video to be like a little bit of a push on how to actually do that. If you had a budget for something back in January and you know by June that it's not, the math is not mathing, this video is going to help you go from August and fall in line. Like I've been calling out, I want you to learn to see your budget as being flexible. And I want to use this video to be just that. So let's go into a thing that I usually use. If you are not new here, you know what I'm getting ready to tell you to do is audit your wallet. So before we get to auditing your wallet, we got to look and see what goals that you had back in January that might got a little bit jumbled up by June, and we can make room to make them fall within your formula. There we go. I had to find it. So before we move into auditing your wallet, I want you to look at your money goals that you had in January, what happened in June, and how we can make room for them to go throughout the rest of the year. The reason why I want you to revisit your money goals is because for you to know how to readjust, you have to know where you actually started from. And maybe you just saying, I want to save $5,000, but childcare is telling you that $5,000 is going to be a little bit more tussle, more than traction. Or groceries is like, I went to the grocery store the other day and what I used to spend for rice went up overnight. So if you're feeling that way, the goals that you set in January can look a little foggy by the time you get to June, July, and August. And if you got kids, bless your heart, because back to school season just wrapped up, or maybe going through right now for some, depends on where you are. And the thing is that instead of you figuring out, oh, well, I didn't hit my goals and just fuck it, I want you to say, hey, how can we scale it? I want you to go and look back and write down 2 to 3 goals that you had at the beginning of the year that you not want might won't really that clear. And we can actually start from here. Oh, that rhymed. But I want you to take those goals, go back and revisit. Look at the screenshots, look at the vision board, look on if you got Canva, you did a little vision board on your, look to see what goals you had at the beginning of the year. And then I want you to get some ideas and context on the reason why they worked and why didn't they work, especially if they pertain to your budget. If you said, I wanted to save $1,000, but I only got $10 saved, we've seen them all on the show, people be joking. But let's see, the thing is that even if people are joking, how can we take what we laughed at and see how can we actually leverage it to scale it and make it relatable or actionable in the year? So go back to those goals, 2 to 3 that you look back with your money and you say, I didn't hit it. So, or do they still matter to you now? This question I'm asking you is for an understanding if it's just how do you value it, and is it advice? Is it advice that you saw when you were swiping in the middle of the night, or is it something that you actually want to still obtain and go through and make do when it comes to your dough? And the thing is that I want us to go back and revisit these goals. But one thing I also want to call out is that we talked about briefly, why didn't that goal work? But how, or what are some alternatives that you're seeing that you could make them work now? If it is a big ass, I got a video coming, I already scripted, so I'm not just saying that. If you had a big ass goal or a bag goal, or what I call money goals, what can you break down from the saying, okay, I want to save $5,000. How does it look within your budget? How does it look within your cash flow? How does it look within what product you're utilizing? So I want you to go back to those 2 or 3 goals and say, hey, these are the goals that I had. Why didn't they work? And how can I actually leverage them to make them work the rest of the year? The next part is that I want you to look to do a spending audit. Yes, I want you to go and look and pull back, the audit your wallet. I want you to pull your last 2, let's just do your statement. We're in summer. So let's go pull your statements back from the springtime and even look to some that may have came out during the summer months to see what are categories got a little bit inflated. Was it your groceries? We know that's a fact. Was it your eating out? Probably so. I'm not going to judge you, just tell you so. Was it gas? We've seen gas been going up and down and all around. Was it utilities? Utilities are going up. Here's the thing. If you're not able to do like the flex billing or whatever, look to see if you do need assistance. If there anything in the area that can help you leverage that. But if not, you might need to try to figure out what can you do when it comes to utilities. I know the washing your clothes in the middle of the night might be one or whatever, but those hacks sometimes don't really hack out into your budget. So just keep that in mind. And then after you figure out where you've been overspending or not spending as according to plan, pause. Has it been shopping? You already know I talked about this on one of my money F-ups, but I have a blog post talking about how to create a shopping SOP. If you've been shopping, swiping, no swiping, you the swiper, you might need to check out that blog post, and we're going to actually build out a video around that in the upcoming, say by September-ish, okay? So whenever you're doing an audit of your wallet, I want you to just determine and do your own CPI report, seeing what went up, what was the influx, what caused it, was it you? Or was it what's going on was it self-inflation or the inflation of the economy? As we understand where the inflation is coming from, we're able to kind of align as much as possible when it comes to it. If it is you, you know what to do. If it's the rest of the situation, we can't really handle this administration. So the thing is, whenever you go do an audit of your wallet, I want you to circle 2 categories that grew the most. So you know how I talk about you doing your personal CPI? Whenever CPI does happen, they look at the month before how spending happens, but it always calls out what went up that month. Could it have been housing? Could it have been utilities? Could it have been groceries? Could it have been eating out? Could your child costs have gone up? Those are key things that you want to circle and say, hey, this went up. And then you want to outline why. And then you want to outline what are you going to do to try to pivot within that pain point that you're experiencing. And then whenever you have that list of everything, I want you to then bring it down another notch of things that went up and then how much and then why. How do I reduce this, replace this, or reallocate it. Ooh, I love to say that. It rhymes. Example, if your little vice, well, they ain't called little, if your vice was eating out, replace it with what? What are you going to replace that eating out with? You're going to reduce it a little bit, or you'll be looking to see where I eat out only on this day or whatever, and this is where I go to, and this is how much I spend, and this is why I use a gift card to help sharpen how I spend. Or it could be, if I have subscriptions, can I cancel them if I'm not using them? And what can I replace them with? If you cutting your subscription, you could probably take those and then reallocate what you are saving from not using them to either use a free option or take what you save and save it to a HYSA. Whew, in one take. And then reallocate whatever you do reallocate from your budget each month, reallocate that to fund money or for groceries or the splurge. I know we always talk about when it comes to groceries to utilize and plan for the staples, but you are allowed to have splurges too. This is what this channel and what I am about when it comes to understanding and figuring out your money is that, yeah, you got to pay bills, but I want you to pay bills and die. I want you to figure out, what can I do? And then write down that list. So this is the certain things I love to do. And then how much does that cost? So whenever you reallocate any extra money that you find, that you're able to say, hey, I can do this, I can do that. This is what this video is going to be about. It's not only repositioning and pivoting your budget for the rest of the year, but repositioning and budgeting yourself within it a little bit more. So after we've gone through step 1, which was revisit your goals, step 2, which was audit your wallet and your spending, and then determining how you're going to replace, reduce or reallocate. The next one that we're going to do is to adjust, but don't overhaul. The reason why is because when people do a cold turkey or overhaul of anything, they just throw everything out the window. Oftentimes when you throw stuff out the window, those are things that actually were working for you. So why are you going to throw something out the window that was working? Right? No. So the thing within this is that you have to start over, get a new budget, get a new template, get a new whatever. I am seeing already on Threads. Threads is my favorite platform, where people are asking, well, what are the best HYSAs? What are the best budgeting apps? But you already have something that you're utilizing. Pause. If you are looking for a couple of budgeting apps to utilize to make your money realize or optimize, here are some that I want to actually put in this video. I didn't have it scripted, so this is off the dome. The first one is Monarch Money. I already have a video talking about these apps. This is good if you're about seeing the gamification or just in real time what's going on with your budget and how you're aligned, cash flow, all of that. Another one will be T Money. I have a TikTok talking about this, which is one of the lower tiers of costs. And go ahead and say this out the dome too. Sometimes if you're utilizing these apps and things like this or templates or whatever, it's going to cost. It's like you're paying a fee within your budget to make sure you figure out what your budget looks like. Another one is, and I haven't talked about it even more in depth, Rocket Money for finding the subscriptions and stuff like that. But one of the things I've been noticing about Miss Rocket Money is that she is pretty cool when it comes to doing your budget within your means. Just saying. And another one that is low cost is Quick and Simplify. It is what it is. I love Quick and pretty cute. It's under $5 a month, or depends on what deal you get. It might be lower. So that's Monarch, T Money, Rocket Money, Quicken, and another one to add is Copilot, as well as Origin. So I have a YouTube video talking about the budgeting apps, but I want to insert them due to the fact that you're just understanding what's going on with your budget as we pivot for the mid-year. We're going to get back on point, right? So number 3 was adjust, don't overhaul. I know we love watching hauls on TV, but we're going to not overhaul your budget when it goes to the formuling and funneling for the fall. So back to what I said, I don't want you to just start over. You need to see what you have and then see what tweaks you can make. Think about it just like adjusting the thermostat, which I had to do before I do this video because utilities, baby, listen. So I want you to think of it like a thermostat. And saying, okay, do I need to punch it up when it comes to how I'm saving? Do I need to punch it down to how I'm spending when I'm eating out or when I'm shopping or when the cost of gas or even my utilities? If I'm noticing that, hey, not my utilities, but let's just say your car insurance is too high. Can I go and call and get a quote to see how we can make that lower? And then I could save some more money or have more money to play with. That is what I'm thinking when it comes to, or talking about when it comes to utilizing your internal or budget thermostat to say, hey, what am I doing good on? What am I not doing so good on? And how can I revalue and repurpose what I'm doing? So some steps within doing this is that I want you to go look at your old budget. Now, if it's over 2 years, three, last year is old, You need to make a budget. You might need my help. I have budgeting services that can help you do that. Okay? Okay. In the in the wallet below. Okay. So you might go ahead and have to look through it. So I want you to go look at your old budget and then look at the categories that you had for your money. Go through and each categorize and say, maybe I needed to build out this different category. Maybe I need to actually do a little bit more tweaking when it comes to building that out a bit more. For example, like if you notice that your groceries are up $80, could we lower? What could we do in other categories to make sure that I'm able to keep this up? Especially if you've been leaning out when it comes to groceries, where can you leverage up when it comes to other expenses? And then I want you to write out a mid-year update before you go and get another budgeting flow. I want you to write out a mid-year update of not only what did you spend for certain things back in January, what is it looking like the forecast is going to be for the rest of the year for this spending category. Oftentimes, and I'm noticing within my budgeting clients, is that people forecast on feelings, not on facts. What I mean by people forecast on feelings, not on facts, is that whenever we're making a budget and say, hey, I spend $300 on groceries, you're spending off of what you feel that you do, or guesstimate or estimate, not on the facts of looking back at your budget and doing your audit of your wallet, looking at your bank statements, looking at your credit card statements and noticing that, hey, I spent $350, but no, actually you spend $600. So in this, I want you to utilize the adjustment to not necessarily say, hey, I need to just cut back everything. No, I want you to see what you can tweak. I want you to make your budget to be upon the facts, not just the feelings, so you don't overestimate or overguesstimate what you spend and you still noticing that you're in the red. That was a tongue twister, but that's honestly how I see it when it comes to budgeting clients. And I want you to not do that. So if you notice that you're eating out and food prices are going up for everybody, how can you curb eating out? Could it be that, hey, I'm gonna get a gift card every so often? I'm gonna use Fetch to scan my receipts, and whenever I get a certain amount of points, I'm gonna eat out at this grocery or eat out at this store or do whatever I want to do with this gift cards. You know, I'm very big on gift cards. So it's just about finding ways to readjust, but not overhaul what you're doing when it comes to your money. Whenever you do write your mid-year update, go back and think about what you did in January and what it looks like now in your own personal CPI. So by the time we get to December and start planning out 2026, I mean, 4 months, y'all, start planning out 2026, that we're able to look at what we did at the beginning of the year, what we did mid-year, and then adjust for the new year, right? Right. That's how you do it when it comes to planning and pivoting your position with your money. That's what I do within my company. So yes, I like that a little bit. Anyway, so the fourth one is for fourth step of the five. Yeah, it's five. Is that I want you to adjust your flex funds and your cushion. Oftentimes when people have been saying, oh, this is what I want to talk about. Whenever you pay all your bills and you notice, and then you go looking at your tissue and you notice you're out. You're noticing that you're out of detergent. You're noticing that you're out of coffee. You're noticing that you're out of da. In my previous video where I talked about sinking funds, I want you to create a sinking fund for other shit. Make your life run. So maybe you have a house sinking fund. I want you to go back and write out everything that makes your life run, your house run. So for instance, my coffee is out right now. I got that from Sam's. That coffee was 23 or it was 20 some dollars. I went up, I seen already when I looked in the app. That's how you plan for your grocery shopping. So I already know that I got that coffee back in May. That coffee is out in August. So that's roughly 2-3 months right there. So I'm able to say, okay, I need to go through my budget to determine how much can I move into my sinking fund that's going to make my house run. That is what I want you to think about. That life is unpredictable. I know we hear about emergency funds, but what does it cost to make your life run? Whenever the life gives you a hiccup, where did you get that money from to make it not stick you up for it? So that's the thing I want you to call out or think about when it comes to your sinking funds, is that I want you to create a buffer for whenever it hit the fan. How do you plan for shit hit the fan? This, if you notice that your car go out, all that, you got a car sinking fund. Your tissue go out. How often do you buy tissue? Much does it last? How much does it usually cost? What ply do you use? If you use certain ply, I'm going to judge you and not justify it. How often do you need to get new clothes? How often does your kids run out of notebook paper? How often do the hows is what's going to tell you how to do your money? That's why I want you to create that when it comes to a flex fund, whether it's a sinking fund or anything like that, whether it's keeping money on the pillow or whatever. I want you to create a flex fund to make your life run, because I don't want you to get sidetracked like, Dad, the tissue just went out. You use that tissue all the time. You got to stash for it somewhere else. The washing detergent go out every so often because them kids keep throwing and washing random stuff, or you just keep rewashing the same stuff that you washed last night. Whenever you understand how your life runs, you're able to tell your funds what to do in certain accounts, like a sinking fund, high yield savings account, under the mattress, or whatever. That's what I'm saying. Is that I want flex funds is like this ish happens. If ish happens, how do you handle it? It's like a category spike. If you notice that your groceries been you forecast and you did what you're supposed to do, but your groceries went up anyway, do you have something in a flex fund or a sinking fund that can actually funnel that? Because you still got to get the juice. You got to get the cereal. You got to get a protein shake. Like I got to get my protein shake. Where can I pull that money from if I already forecasted and the forecast is on facts, not feelings? That's why I want you to retool when it comes to your money. So one thing that I want you to do on this action step is that I want you to take either 25 to 50 to $100, depending on what your budget says. Your budget says. And then I want you to park it within that sinking fund. I love Ally. I love Marcus. I love Capital One. I love all that. And I want you to keep it there. Why I'm going to tell you to do it in a sinking fund within a high yield savings account? Because you're going to, the more times that you keep that money there, the more money that you're going to get paid back for saving that stack versus you putting it in a pillow. Pillow don't pay you interest. Shoebox don't pay you interest. So that's why I want you to retool and think about that. So the first one is I want you to go back and revisit your money goals. Then I want you to go back and determine your audit of your wallet to see what spiked in your personal CPI. And then the third one is, keep me honest. The third one is that I want you to adjust but don't overhaul. And then this one was just talking about, hey, adding a flex fund. I talked about this with who is that? Business Insider a while ago. While that, I don't know if that was clipped from it, but I think that it was very impactful that having a flex fund is going to keep you whenever things start to run a little shitty with the tariffs and supply chain, that you have you not only flex fund for stuff that you like money, but stuff that keeps your life running. Can you buy an extra carton of eggs, or can you buy an extra stuff, whatever, and put it in a freezer? So flex funds is not necessarily the funds, but also making your life run. What can you do now to help you for later? That's such a side quest, which I'm known to do. But going into number 5, aces and 5. Anyway, that I want you to automate your money as much as possible and check in with your money. I love to tell you that checking in with your money is more than just, I'm going to do my budget for the month and that's it. Click, ready to go. Or shoot, a check coming in. Let me check my checking account. I'm getting ready to, I'm getting ready to check out and buy this. People oftentimes, when they do their budget, only check their budget in their checking accounts 2 times. The first time they do their budget is whenever, or looking at their budget, is when they're making the budget. That's it. And it's time to make another budget. You don't check throughout the month. You can't measure what you don't track. And then when it comes to your checking account, you're only checking your checking account when a check is coming in or you're getting ready to check out. This right here, I want you to be clear. And step number 5 is about you making a money routine. We're going to talk about this later in the month or so. Then I want you to be able to check your checking account and then make an understanding on what's going on with your budget. Your budget is a living, breathing organism, and it's flexible and it's funded and all that good stuff. It's not restrictive, but more reflective. And I want you to be checking in with your budget more often moving through the rest of the year. I want you to say, hey, every 2 weeks, I want to go and do a money date and see where am I at with the budget for the month. Is bills paid? Do I have cash flow? How much? How things are flowing? And then you're able to readjust the next 2 weeks to say, I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. And by the last week of the month, you're able to look back throughout the current month to say, hey, here's what I need to do different in the month coming in. That is how you budget. But hey, whatever. So I want you to say, you can make it run on autopilot. But oftentimes when we're running stuff on autopilot, we plug in the coordinates and we check it right there, right? That's what I want you to do when it comes to checking in with your money. Automation of like moving money from your savings, moving money to your other checking accounts, it will give you fewer oops, but more consistency with the currency that you have. Action step within this step is that I want you to look in to see what can you auto transfer into your sinking fund or whatever. Remember I talked about in step 4 about having that sinking fund for oops or miscellaneous. Can you move into that? Can you move $5 into a high yield savings account just to start saving something for you? And then set a reminder every 2 weeks. I tell you to check in with your budget, check in with your checking what's going on with your savings, and checking in how you're spending your money and flowing your money. every 2 weeks. And I want you to say, hey, what went up? What went down? What did I compound? What stayed the same? That is what I want you to do whenever we go through the fall months. What are we going to do in the fall? It's what's going to allow us to fall in formation no matter what happens in 2026. Because we already seen it's going to be a little bit of everything. Okay. But I want you to define your money goals and how things go in your GPS the rest of this 2025. All right, let's recap. So the first thing is I want you to go back and revisit your money goals. And then I want you to audit yourself, audit your wallet without judging. I know that you see your money and how you money and why I spent this, why I brought that, and you instantly can judge yourself. I want us to take the judgment not only out on how we judge other people, but how we judge ourselves with our money. You didn't get here overnight, and you're not gonna move around overnight. Okay. This third one is I want you to adjust and do not overhaul your budget system, money system. And then I want you to create a flex fund, but also flex with your situation. I want you to add more flexibility and more intention and more incentive in how you handle your money. And I want to say, hey, I'm saving for this. Hey, I'm budgeting better with that. Be more intentional so your money can implement better. And the fifth one is I want you to check in with your money. You can't set a budget and create a budget, and you can't measure what you don't track. If you don't track your budget just is a loose piece of paper. Or let's say I did my budget for the month. Here's my money check-in. Look how I spent making $5,000 in San Antonio, Texas. How often do you check in with your money? I want you to move from that sensationalism or aesthetic aspect of our accounts to being hard and drilling in what that looks like. Yes, the aesthetics is cool. I love it. But how does the aesthetics flow into how we handle and manage our money now? I know you might want more money to manage, but what are you doing with the money you have now? That's what I want us to go into. Oh Lord, I went off on a tangent. But anyway, so that's what we have. We have those 5 tips to pivot our money from January to June to fall in line. What's going to define what goes into 2025 and going into 2026. Again, we got 4 months. Oh my God, what this year did. So that's what I want to say. So if you need help with doing more of this, a little bit more hands-on, I want to help you make these changes stick and stay and not get your money in disarray. My August books are open, or September. My books are open whenever you're viewing this. If you're viewing this in August or October, my books are open. And you can book me for Ask Me Anything sessions. Like if you look at your budget, say, hey, Nadia, what's going on with this? Hey, Nadia, what's going on with my retirement account? Hey, Nadia, is this the best ROE savings account? How can I make an actual savings formula that makes room for me? That's my Ask Me Anything sessions are about. I can do your budget. It's done for you, or I can give you analysis on the budget that you have now. And then I also have full financial planning offerings as well. Don't forget to join my newsletter. You get a freebie, you get emails nearly every Thursday, and you get a heads up when all the classes and all of the things that are coming down the line are defined. Let me know, what is one thing that you're going to do with your budget going into the fall months? Is it going to be budgeting yourself within it? Is it going to be actually tracking your money more than you just saying, oh, it's just subtracting? Or are you going to actually see if you do have a bank account that has this? I know a bank account that start with W. Now people don't like it. They do have notifications that, hey, your account was charged for this. Hey, your account was charged for that. You spent this or whatever. Those notifications allow you the need to know what's going on with your dough. Because oftentimes we think about money and budgeting and things, we get numb to our numbers. So this channel and this videos that's coming out, I done planned them. It's about knowing your numbers, being nimble, but also nipping what's going on and making your money trip. So let me know, what is one thing that you are actually going to start doing better with your money going into the fall? What did you fumble? I owe to my newsletter. What did you fumble at the beginning of the year that you're gonna be more funded in the year when it comes to the fall? And let me know, what other videos would you like from this channel? What did you like about this video? And make sure that you not only like, subscribe, and comment within the bank below, but share this with anybody that you know that needs to get their dough more in flow. So stay funded. That's it. Ooh.